This is BL in the air. My name is Chy,
I'm Alex.
and today we have a guest with us.
Hey.
How about you introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, I'm Sydney.
Welcome, Sydney, our very first
Hello.
guest.
I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
honestly, I'm so honored.
Yeah, well, it's the perfect guest to have for this topic today. We're gonna be talking about the show Sotus, but before we get into that, Sydney, we like to do a little thing that we call What's in the Air. Basically, just let us know like what shows and stuff you're watching right now. So, what's in the air with you?
Honestly, I'm not watching a whole lot, at least currently, because I'm just been really busy. So I've been watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It
Solid.
has been great. Yeah, it's been like our dinner, like just have something in the background while we eat kind of show. So I haven't really been paying attention, but for the most part, it's been pretty good. It's like one of the older, like from like 2003. So
Mm.
yeah. And then I'm also still in the middle of watching The Untamed, but Shy and I haven't had the chance to watch it in a while. But
I'm
you
right
know,
there with you. I think I made it like 8 episodes into The Untamed.
yeah, I think we're on episode like 11, maybe less
Mhm.
than that. I don't remember, but it's been a while since we've been able to watch it just because I've been busy and I can't watch it by myself because then I just like get too distracted and I just like cannot sit down and focus on it. And also I get really confused. So I have to have Shy next to me so that she can tell me what the hell is going on.
I miss it. Yeah, we'll have to watch again soon. We're just at the verge of like a lot of big things happening. So
Right. Yeah,
yeah.
I can sense that. So I'm like itching to continue watching it, but it's just been difficult to find the time.
Hmm. Well, Alex, how about you? What's in the air with you?
So since our last recording, I have watched nothing because I had a friend come visit me and we've been running around like crazy. But last night at like 2 in the morning, I don't know how we got on this, but we started watching Disco Peng Peng YouTube videos, which Disco Peng Peng is like a ride in Korea where you're like on this round thing and you're sitting in a circle with a bunch of other people and you're like facing inside and the ride like spins, but they also can like bounce it and stuff and there's no safety harnesses on it. Right? So you're literally like flying around in the ride. And a lot of times the guy who's like controlling it will purposely like bounce people to like land on top of each other and he's always trying to set people up. So when we googled the videos yesterday, the first search was Disco Bang Bang BL. So that's what we
Oh,
watched. And it was a lot of guys straddling each other because of the guy bouncing them on top of each other.
That's so insane.
I like actually can't picture this in my head, so I'm gonna have to look this up
You've never
afterwards
seen
because
it?
what? No.
Okay.
Well,
What?
okay.
I've seen the ride before because I mean just like Alex said it's funny because it's just people like falling on top of each other like it's like a theme park ride, but I didn't know it was like a whole like genre of video.
Oh, it is. It's so intense. It's so funny.
Yeah. That's so I like I'll see it on like TikTok and sometimes or like every now and again, but
Yeah, I was literally in tears watching it.
do you know where it's located? Like
Yes, I
is
because I did a deep dive yesterday. Oh, it's some like island. There's like an amusement park just outside of Seoul, like near like Incheon.
Oh, okay. Is it
I for-
okay. Yeah, I don't think I've been there. I would be honestly, I would be afraid to go on this thing because I just like do not want to sit on other people's laps.
Yeah, that does not sound like a great time.
No. It is funny though. And the guy who runs the ride is always like commentating and stuff and he's always like asking people questions and trying to like set them up. It's pretty funny.
Interesting. Okay. We'll have to check out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's about the only BL I've done is watch videos of this at 2 in the morning last night.
That's better than me, honestly. I really have not been watching anything. I caught up on 4 Minutes, which it's a Thai show that's airing right now. And I think there's 6 episodes out, so I caught up to number 6, and then I'm waiting for the next 2 to be out, and then I think the show's over. But that's I think that's all I've watched recently. I've been doing this like jigsaw puzzle, and I've been like listening to books while I do it, or like watching like, I don't know, other random shows, but I can't really, it's hard to watch a show with like subtitles and do it at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I haven't really watched many other like Thai shows recently. But yeah, 4 Minutes is really good. I'm liking it a lot so far, and I'm very scared about what's supposed to happen in the last 2 episodes.
Oh, that is the worst when it like gets to a point and it's like, okay, what else could possibly happen? And there's like multiple episodes left and you're like, oh no.
And this show, it's so insane too. It's like very sci-fi, I think. I don't know.
You think?
Yes.
It's
How's that a
That's-
question?
it's like,
Timelines happening.
yeah.
But I think only
There's-
one of them is real.
Yeah, there is
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm like not sure like if it's actually multiple timelines or if it's just like one guy like hallucinating stuff, you know?
Yeah. So I've only watched through episode 4 because I've been so busy with people visiting. But from what I've seen, oh, excuse me, episode 5.
Mhm.
But yeah, from what I've seen, I don't know what's happening. I love Bible and Jess, so I'm here for the ride.
Yeah. I'm liking it a lot so far. I mean, it's like beautifully shot and it's unique. And hey, I'll take that over another college or office drama.
I don't know that I can handle another
What?
college drama.
Listen, okay.
No, that's crazy.
So, okay, we're about to get into it. But here's the thing. So the college drama, it starts with Sotus.
And it never ends.
And then it just never
Yeah.
ended. And then every show after that was like engineering major and like architecture major, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm totally like, usually I'm fine with it, but I think, you know, that genre's kind of run its course a bit. I'm happy to see other genres kind of come in. But
Yeah. I don't mind if they're like college age, like only friends where like the whole like college part of it really didn't matter. It was just a reason for them to start the like hostel.
mhm.
But like I'm looking at my like to watch or like what I'm currently watching list on my drama list right now, and all I can see is that Monster Next Door at the top. And I can't do it. I think I'm gonna have to drop it.
Yeah, it's too bad.
It's not even that it's like a terrible show, I don't think. I'm so burnt out on college shows.
Yeah. If so college shows done right, I'm all for. And I think that's really where I gravitated towards like Sotus.
Mhm.
Because it is a college drama. It was probably like, I would say it's the first one. And it was done so well. And I don't know. I still marvel at this show, so I really want to talk about it, you know? That's why we wanted to talk about it today.
So do we want to get into it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, Sotus aired from August 2016 to January 2017. That's Did they release like one episode a month? That's so long.
Yeah, because there's only 15 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Did
Is
they
that
like
15
I
weeks?
don't know.
That's like 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah, almost 4 months. So
Hmm.
I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure what their release schedule was on that, but
So I have it pulled up. It looks like one a week
okay.
because it was end of August and beginning of January.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, okay.
it looks a little more normal now that I'm looking at the original air
That
dates.
does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, that's almost like 6 months apart. But so this is the oldest BL drama that we have talked about on, or that we've like covered on this podcast. And it's the first one that I ever saw. So a little short summary, it's about this like engineering freshman who it's about this engineering freshman class, so they're new, to college, and then they get bullied by their upperclassmen, and it's considered hazing. And then one of the freshmen in particular has been kind of pushing back at this practice and causing problems. And then he just kind of ends up becoming like the bane of the head hazer's existence. So that's my summary. It's not that good, but I didn't know how to describe the show.
I feel like that's a pretty good summary. I don't know if I could do it any better. But then, like, yeah, obviously, eventually, we know who ends up together. Haha.
Mm-hmm. A little enemies to lovers action, which I love.
Honestly, I feel like this was what made me love enemies to lovers. I feel like this is one of the first things that I ever watched that was kind of like that. And now I can't get enough.
Honestly, that's so true.
Wow,
Yeah.
we're making real discoveries here.
We are. This is therapy. And then, okay, some of the characters. So, our two main characters are Artit. His nickname is Un, but he doesn't really get referred to by that in the show. He's played by Christ. And then we have Kong Pop, or Kong, who's played by Singto. There are two main characters. And then there's like 30 other side characters. I'll only mention a few of them, but we also have M, who is played by Nu, which is really fun to see because Nu is like pretty well-known actor in the industry now. He's in like a ton of shows. That's what's like really fun, I feel like, about Sotus is like it's a lot of seeing these actors for the first times, and then, like some of them are like pretty big name now.
I don't think I'd watched anything from New before I watched Sotus, because I'll chime in and say that I am probably the one to have watched this much more recently than both of you. 'Cause I only
Yeah,
watched this like a
absolutely.
couple months ago. Um,
Yeah.
Cherry Magic, I think, is the only thing I've seen with him in it.
Yeah, he's in Cherry Magic. I've seen him he was in the Warp Effect as well. I don't know. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of things.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in a lot. I haven't watched any of it.
Yeah. But he's definitely a familiar face for a lot of people. And then we also have May, who's played by Neen. I'm not that familiar with this actor otherwise, but yeah. I have such like a nostalgic connection to all these characters,
Yeah, honestly, same.
He was in Theory of Love. That's
Oh,
cool.
she was?
Yeah, as a support role.
Okay.
I don't remember her.
Yeah.
It's another one of those shows where I'm like, oh, that had a girl in it.
Yeah, yeah, right. Are you sure? And then some of the other students, just I don't know, because we'll mention them. There's Prem. He's one of the hazers. He's played by Gunsmile. Pretty notably, there's Bright, who's another hazer. He is played by Off, who is one of the most famous BL actors, like now.
I love Off so much.
Yeah, it's funny to see him in, I don't know, just so like baby in the show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he doesn't have the biggest role in the show, but he's, a part of the ensemble. We have Not, who I love his character. So, he's played by Ice. But yeah, one of my favorite characters. There's Wad.
Wad. Justice for Wad.
Justice for Wad. We'll be talking about him a lot. His actor is named Fluke, though. I don't really think Fluke. I think Fluke gave up on acting in the middle of Soda, so I don't know if he's really done anything else.
Also, Ice has only been in Sotus and Sotus S.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Aw. He's so good. And then, then we have my girl, Pepeline. She's played by Jan, and Jan is one of my favorite actors at GMM TV. Every show she's in is a banger. So, but yeah, that character specifically, I really loved when I first watched the first time, and to this day.
Agreed.
And then there's like hella more people, but we're not gonna go through all of them. There's too many.
I think there was a good chunk of the show where I was like, okay, I know who like Kristen Singto are, and I know who Off is because I know all of his other shows. And I was like, I
Mhm.
don't have a clue who anyone else is. And I was just
Yeah.
vibing. I'm like, are you a bully or not? That's kind of the divide.
Yeah. Are you wearing a red shirt or a white shirt? Because if you're wearing a red shirt, that means you're evil.
But not always, because some of the upperclassmen are really nice.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
The way I looked down to see if I was wearing red,
I'm wearing black, as
I'm wearing
always.
black too.
ugh, I'm not wearing red at least, but it's gray. Eh.
Just not
Well,
the black.
okay, so that's the cast for the most part. So I guess the reason we are having Sydney guest today, Sydney, do you want to talk about your experience with the show?
Sure. So I think in probably sometime in 2017 or 2018, I don't really remember when I watched it. Like most things, Shy made me watch it, or get into it because that's just how our relationship works. So yeah, there was like she watched it, and at one point she was like, "Cindy, you need to watch the show," and I was like, "Okay." I'd watched like a lot of K-dramas, and so I wasn't like not used to like subtitled shows, but I'd never watched a BL. So that was like my first experience like watching one. So this is my first like Thai BL, my first BL in general. Um and yeah, I watched it, hated it, but also loved it at the same time. Like couldn't get enough. But it still like scarred me because of just how insane the show is.
Yeah.
So that is my experience with it. And so it's been many years since I watched it. I tried rewatching it before like recording this, and I got through like 5 episodes, and it was mostly just like something I had in the background because I've watched it before, but also because I just genuinely couldn't sit down and actually watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, quality wise, like filming quality is a little rough.
Yeah,
It
it's a little rough. Well, we can get into that as well, but yeah,
yeah, it looked
it's
a
a
lot
lot.
better when I was 16 and they didn't have any more of these shows because nowadays they all look really nice, but
Right.
back then there's nothing to compare it to. So it was like, oh, is this like compared to like a student project, this is pretty good.
I mean, all things considered, it was like, the main like first hugely popular Thai BL. And so considering that for how like good it is, even if it's like not great quality, it's like still like outstanding, what
Mhm.
it's all done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. For me, I mean our whole first episode we did on like our introduction to Thai BL, that I basically talk about like that whole episode about Sotus and how I came to discover it and why I immediately loved it and stuff. So I won't tell the whole story again, but yeah, it used to be on Netflix, so it came up on Netflix one day and I was like, this looks gay. They don't make gay shows like for young people. That's not a thing. And then I watched it and I was like, wow, this is gay. A gay show for young people. I've never seen this before.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that was my basic experience. And I know Alex, you watched it like within the last year.
Yeah, it's been probably the last like 3 or 4 months that I watched it. Because it was after we started the podcast, because
Mhm.
it was for this episode that I watched it.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, even with it being older, it's still a good watch.
Mhm.
Um, I still enjoyed it even as much as I'm so like over school show.
Yeah.
Um,
But this is the blueprint, you know?
yeah, it brought up a lot of like Greek life trauma.
Oh no. Yeah.
Not
Ooh,
not that I
yeah.
was in Greek life, but like I just like my roommate freshman year was in Greek life, and we started fighting because of it, and it was a whole drama. Because she went through like the craziest personality shift. She was like when we like decided to room together, she was like, "Yeah, I don't want to do Greek life either. I don't, like we same opinions on Greek life." And I'm from the South, so Greek life is like a huge important thing. I think other parts of the country not as much. And like she got invited to some like rush party or something and came back a whole different person. And I was just like, what happened?
What did they do to you?
Oh.
Right? It was the weirdest, like, I don't know, brainwashing something. Like she was a totally different person. She was like super vindictive for like no reason. And like that's not how Sotus is at all. Like that's the opposite of what Sotus wants out of like their like engineering fraternity basically. But but it was such a like watching them like haze and I was like, "Oh my god, it's Greek life all over again."
Yeah.
I like thinking of Sotus as if it's a fraternity. That's really funny to me.
I mean, that's basically what it is. It's just they do it by
Mhm.
major instead of just like I don't know, a club.
Yeah, right. You don't get to elect to be hazed. You're just automatically hazed.
Right? That sounds awful to me because I couldn't imagine like knowing like how starting freshman year because I'm a STEM major. I was polymer science. We did a lot of chemistry stuff. I basically lived with my classmates for 4 years anyway. But I'm like, if they'd have tried to make me do half the stuff from this show, I'd have been like, goodbye.
Yeah.
Time for a new major.
God.
Like, let me go find a major that doesn't haze me.
Yeah, I know. They treat them so horribly. It's Sydney made a list of crimes in the show, or just like crazy things, and they're
Oh,
so
it's so
funny.
long.
I tried to incorporate as much as I could in the spreadsheet here, but
Yeah, no, it's insane. Yeah, I only got through, like I said, like 5 episodes rewatching it, and there's at least like 20, 25 points. The first one being just plain old Arheet. That's it.
yeah.
He's the crazy thing. He's the crazy
He's
thing.
so mean.
He's
He's so
so
mean.
mean, but I also love him.
I do
Yeah.
too. By
Yeah.
the end, I've forgiven him.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess that being said, we're gonna spoil the whole show right now. So if you care about that, here's your warning.
Go pause, go watch, come back.
Yeah, there you go. It'll be quick. It's only 15 episodes.
Uh,
We'll still be here. It's fine.
Yeah. But I guess, yeah, getting right into it. I mean, the show kind of just cold opens. Like, basically, the show starts, there's no explanation, nothing. It's just like hundreds of freshmen sitting on the gym floor for like, looks like orientation. And they're all just like having fun and playing games, whatever. And then, 10 seconds in, like, the music turns scary. And a bunch of the third year hazers come in. So they're the ones in the red shirts, and they look mean, and they walk in and stand in front of the room. And my first impressions of the rewatching the show is that first of all, the sound quality is atrocious.
it's so bad.
It's like every time someone says a line, like so someone will like say a line and then you can tell between that and then the next person saying their line, they just like mute all the background noise because there's so much background noise like always.
Yeah. So I was watching a little bit of it before we started, and one of the things I noticed with my earbuds is the sound wasn't balanced from one side to the other.
Oh really?
Mm,
I thought my earbuds were broken at first, and then I had to like pull up something else and like listen, and I was like, nope, it's just this video.
Yeah.
Like the left side is louder than the right.
Oh no. There's like
Yeah.
one scene too where someone's like phone rings in the background and I'm like, what?
Yeah, today I went to the gym, and while I was like on the elliptical, I was rewatching a couple episodes with my like headphones on, and I was watching it. At first I was at 1.5 speed, and then I did it in 2 times speed, and somehow the sound quality is even worse when it's like sped up. Like especially like the background music, like it just when there's just randomly some kind of song like starting to play, it's like so crackly and just god awful.
I love that take. I've never watched a show 2 times speed before, but I'll keep that in mind.
It needed to go quickly,
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
if I'm being honest.
Yeah. And then in addition to the sound, there is this like horrible gray filter over everything.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
Ages the show, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely did not realize it when I was like watching it when I was younger, but now I watch it and I'm like, it's so gray and like it's just like so like not vivid at all.
Yeah, it's like how Twilight is like a bluish,
Yeah.
greenish color, but like with Sotus, it's just like gray and boring and dull. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess
Yeah.
this is the mood we're going for.
Yeah. I was thinking Twilight too, but at least that one had like a purpose. I don't know what the artistic direction was for this, but um okay, so that's first impressions. And then so Artit, who is our head hazer, he he takes out this ugly ass necklace and it has a gear on it. And he's says something and it's all symbolic and he's basically like this gear is super important. This is the most important thing you will ever see in your life. Um but you can't have a gear until you learn the Sotus system. So your rules are if you come to every gathering, you respect your seniors, then you'll be able to earn your gear. So that's kind of the basis to, I don't know. That's the end goal.
I don't think this would have worked in 2016, but I think now if somebody told me that, I'd have just gone on like Amazon and bought one.
Yeah.
Made my own and be like, whatever.
I mean, it's like cheap plastic and twine, but you know.
Yeah, at my first like bullet point in my crazy things in Sodas is literally making them earn a shitty little necklace by doing the most insane things. Like it's the ugliest little necklace. Why would I want that?
It's purely the symbolism, okay? You need because every gear his reasoning is every gear in engineering, if you missing a gear, the gears aren't going to spin and work, you know? So that's
I
the
hate that.
reasoning. Yeah.
I feel like they put more emphasis on teamwork than engineering actually has.
Yeah, they really do. I've never seen such like social engineers before.
They're generally not.
Yeah. And so their first task for this is to collect 1,000 signatures of seniors in their department in 1 week, which is crazy. And Kong Pop, who is our other main character, who is a freshman, he stands up at this and he's just like, hey, I think 1 week is too short of a time. Like, can you give us a month? And then they argue about it for a while, and the baseline is it's 1 week. And also this is the first time that Kong Pop has caused some trouble, which will be very reoccurring.
A1.
Yeah. And so they all go out to collect their signatures. And M, who is Kong's friend from high school, he is having a hard time getting signatures because he's just kind of sitting and playing. He's the true engineer. He's just sitting and playing games on his phone the whole time in like the corner. And so May, who is another freshman, she grabs him and pulls him with her to get like signatures with her. And then the senior makes them do like some chicken dance, and then they get their signature.
Honestly, I respect the seniors for coming up with such like weird tasks for them to do at this point to like get their signatures. Like some of them
Yeah.
are just like, what? Okay.
Yeah,
This is my actual hell.
Yeah. Actually.
yeah, as far as like the tasks go, this chicken dance one is like fine. We'll get to some later that are like very out of pocket, but I do remember though in the next season, there's season 2 of Sotus. I remember May and M make some students do the chicken dance for them for the signatures, and I was like, wow, this is a full circle moment.
Aw, so cute.
Yeah. And then after that, so Kong Pop, he takes M's signature book because M still has like one signature, and he takes it with him to get all the signatures for both of them because he's a good friend. And Pripiline, she's getting signatures. She's another freshman. And her friends are like, hey, you have to go ask the hazers for signatures. And they're terrified of these hazers. And she's like, okay, because she's very sweet and nice and beautiful. And so she goes up and asks for their signature, and they're so rude to her. Like, this pisses me off. So they make her yell that she likes Artit and that he's good looking, and then he asks for her number and like takes a picture of her. And I'm like, this is so demeaning.
Yeah, that was so sleazy.
I honestly feel like this is like the worst thing Artit does this show.
Yes.
Because it's kind of predatory, you know? Like, you're
Right.
Yeah.
forcing her to do this, and then, like, you know, kind of just blackmailing her with, like, hey, you need to do this, but you can't do it unless you give me your number, you know? It's, like, gross.
Right.
Yeah.
And after that, man, Archie was a menace on the first day. He notices that Kongpop has 2 signature books, because he has M's as well. And he is like, you can't do that. And Kong's like, well, you never told us like how we could collect the signatures. And so like as a punishment, Artit makes Kong stand on a table and yell that he likes men and then ask out 10 guys. And this is also super fucked up.
It's so messed up.
Instead of being mad, Kong doesn't really look phased though. He's like, okay.
Yeah, he's like determined, which good for him, you know.
But I feel like the most important part about all of that is he doesn't even sign the book after he does that.
I
Like,
know. Oh my god.
That's oh my god. I remember just being so insanely pissed off because I was like, are you kidding me? You're making him like embarrass himself and like do all of this, and then you're not even going to sign it. Be for real.
Mm-hmm. I know, get over yourself. So, yeah, off to a bad start with Artit here. Not a good first impression.
Really.
No.
Um,
Why there's so many episodes so you forget about this by the time you get to episode 15.
yeah, right. They do.
True.
Kong does bring up this incident later in the show, but it's like, haha, remember when you did this, you know? But they do
I'm
bring it
so
up
glad
later.
that he like looks back on it and is just like, haha. Because if like someone would have done that to me, I would still hold like a grudge.
Yeah, I would too.
Yes,
Kong
same.
is stronger than me.
He is.
I don't know that I even made it that far. I think the moment they said you have to get 1,000 signatures in a week, I'm like, I don't talk to people.
Yeah.
Goodbye, new major, dropping out of college, something.
Yeah,
Honestly.
Whatever it takes.
I'd be with M playing Dota with him or whatever he's doing. And then, so outside of hazing, though, the freshmen, they're meeting friends, they're getting closer. They've met a friend named Wad. He's slightly delinquent, but that's okay. There's another one, what's his name, like Nut or something? He's got this fuck-ass bob, but I love him.
Oh yeah, he's certainly something. I don't remember his name if I'm being honest.
I feel like it's like Nut or something. I don't know. He's like very reoccurring, but I didn't really write him down because he doesn't really impact the plot. Oh, his name's Oak.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's
But,
just kind of there.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters who are just kind of there, but they do make the world feel more like full, you know?
Definitely.
And so I appreciate them for that. So yeah, they're making friends, and then they go back to hazing. This first half of the show is just like in and out of hazing constantly. And once again, Artit, he singles Kong out, and he asks, like, how many freshmen are there? And Kong's like, I don't know. And then Artit's just like, well, like, you don't care about your classmates, like, because you don't know how many there are. And so he dangles that damn necklace, the gear one, and once again tries to make it sound important. And he's just like, well, like, what'll you do if I don't give you this gear? And Kong Pop says, like, oh, I'll make you my wife because whatever belongs to your lover, like, also belongs to you. And I cringe.
So good. It's so good.
It is good. Oh my god. I know that Kong is doing this because it's his way to get under Artit's skin, which is like really funny. But he's stronger than me. I could not be saying this to this man.
Yeah, he's so confident with it, and he's so good at coming up with those little jabs that it's like
Mhm.
every time he does it, I'm like, "Ooh, that was good. That was a good one."
Uh,
And then also, like, after he, like, says that he'll make him his wife, or he, like, makes him do 200 squats. And it's like, okay, like, he's a little angry, and he's like,
yeah.
well, I'm gonna punish you for that." I'm like, "Okay. He got you good. He can't do nothing."
Mm-mm. Yeah, Kong's whole thing half the show is just like being a flirty bitch, and I love it.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's tomorrow, and once again they're sitting on the grass getting hazed, and they have like their arms out on each other. And once again, Kong Pop's singled out, and he's once again asked how many classmates there are, or he has, and he knows the answer this time because I guess he probably looked it up. And then Archie was like, "Oh, well, how many students are here now?" And so Kong like counts everyone, and he's like, "Oh, the number was like 54 short, so like 54 students like skipped the hazing." And Archie asks why, and Kong is like, "Oh, they're not missing. They sent me their hearts, and they did this to replace the heart that I gave you." And then Archie's like, "You have to go run 54 laps for that."
Which 54 wow, I can't talk. 54 laps is like if it's like a track, like a full
It is.
track, which I think it is, that's like 13 and a half miles. That's like a full or a half marathon. Insane.
Just pick up a run and do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
casual. Let
The
me go do that really
punishments
quick.
in this show are absurd. Like they are just not reasonable. And I love this. I love that like once Kong figures out that the way to get like to piss off Archie is to like flirt with him, he's just gonna do that every interaction now, you know?
Mhm.
And so he starts running his laps because Kong is still he's pretty obedient. Like he'll push back against everything, but he'll still like always do what they tell him.
He just needs the logic behind it, which I
Yeah.
respect. I'm the same way. I'll do it whatever you tell me to if it makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But sometimes
agree.
it still doesn't make sense and he does it, and then I'm like, "What are you doing? Like, stay strong."
I think he has faith that there's like a reason behind what they're doing. And like other seniors
Yeah.
throughout the show will be like, "Oh, I know they're harsh, but like they have good intentions. They're doing it for a reason." I think he values like their opinion.
Right.
So, but especially so he starts his laps and then he gets 7 laps in, and a senior, her name's Fang, she stops him from running, and she's like knock that off, and like gives him some water. Um and RT comes up to him and he's like, "You haven't finished the laps." And he's like, "Well, Fang is my senior too, so are you saying I shouldn't listen to my seniors?" We
Got him.
got him. And fortunately, that's good enough, so he doesn't have to run 13 and a half miles. He just runs like, what is that, like a mile and a quarter? Mile and 3/4.
Yes.
So,
Math.
I couldn't do it, so props to him. Love this part. There's some more hazing going on. They're all like headbanging to some
Oh, no.
engineer song they made up.
We are
We
engineer. Whatever it
engineer.
is.
It's
Oh god.
ENGINEER. We
Oh,
are
yeah.
engineer.
And then yeah, we are engineer. Ah! Or something like
Yeah.
that at the end.
And they're like, "You're not doing it hard enough," so they keep making them headbang.
I would be so dizzy.
I know. I'm gonna get like
Like there's only so much headbanging my brain can handle before it's just slammed into my skull too many times.
Yeah, they're gonna get like shaken adult syndrome.
I don't think that's how that works.
I don't think so either. I think
That's
that's
called a
just concussion.
I'm gonna refer to concussions as shaken adult syndrome from now on.
Good idea. Um, and the hazers have a meeting because for some reason, a lot of the freshmen are skipping out on all these hazing activities, which,
I
like,
wonder why.
no shit. You're, like, making them headbang and, like, run laps and stuff. Like, who would want to go to that? But one of the hazers, his name's Prem, he wants to be even harsher. Prem has some anger issues, so yeah. Interesting idea.
Every time I hear Prem, I'm thinking of the actor Prem, and I'm like, that teddy bear doesn't do
No.
anything.
Yeah,
I'm like, no.
this one is played by he's played by Gunsmile.
Gun smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just like crazy. He's just like, they're not listening to us because we're not harsh enough.
Yeah, okay.
So dramatic.
Yeah. So we go to our freshmen and they're drinking away their sorrows, their stress from school and being like hazed. And then the hazers show up at their table and they like join with them and they like kind of make the freshmen drink like way too much. And then they're just like, but they're not
Yeah.
stressed anymore.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, like why are you here?" And they're like, "Oh, we're just trying to relax." And they're like, "Shouldn't you be studying?" And they're like, "Oh, well, since you're here and you're drinking, you might as well drink a bunch so that you get super, super drunk. Otherwise, like, this is a waste of time." And it's like, oh my God, like they
I
got
know.
so wasted. And it's like, ugh, I don't like it.
No.
What's wild about that is all of this hazing is school sanctioned.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, the teachers are totally aware of what's happening and totally cool with it.
Yeah, they will. Okay, so they will start to get in a little bit of trouble with the teachers for the hazing, but it's not for the hazing itself. It's because of how harsh it's about to get. But other than that, like,
It's
hazing
insane.
club is like a proper club, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
They're like the hall monitors, I guess, the prefects of the school.
I'm so glad I went to school in America.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I wonder how accurate this is to real life. I've always been curious.
They always put like the like warning before the episode starts, like that the hazing is like exaggerated.
Yeah.
So it's obviously that, but I would assume that maybe this exists at
Yeah.
least a little bit.
I think it does exist because it does show up in like other dramas too, but
Mhm.
but I also like I don't know that I believe that warning. I'm sure there is some school out there that is this awful.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. They had to get the ideas somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. The warning is there so it doesn't make Thailand look bad.
Probably.
Yeah. So, okay, so this is when the hazing starts to get really bad. Prem takes over, which isn't great because he's a madman. And he's pissed because some freshmen didn't like greet him when he walked by, and he's making them do this punishment until that person comes forward. And then Wad raises his hand. He's like, "Oh, I think it was me." And Prem's just like screaming at him. And Wad is like, "Why would I greet you? Like, I don't respect you." And Prem's like, you need to leave, and everyone else who doesn't want to be here can leave. And so like Wad leaves and like a bunch of other people leave as well.
It must have been my cue to leave.
Yeah. I'm here for Wad, honestly, like.
Yes.
Yeah, I support Wad no matter what he does. If he
Yeah.
does something wrong, but the thing is, like, they show the little like flashback of like when this happened where they walked past each other and Wad didn't greet him. He was literally just like minding his business and just like listening to music on his
Mhm.
headphones and was just walking around. And it's like, why maybe he didn't even he might have noticed him and then like purposely didn't greet him, but it was like it's so insane that Prem got so insanely pissed off about it, like screaming, like if there was a chair, he would have been throwing it.
Yeah,
Prem needs therapy.
he does.
He needs therapy real bad.
Yeah. He's absolutely pissed. And so of course, there are less people at the next hazing event. Not going well for these hazers. And M forgets to bring his name tag. And so Artit is like, "Oh, well, you didn't bring your name tag because you probably assume that everyone already knows you and everyone knows everything about you." And so this is insane. This is so stupid. But he has Kong Pop stand up, of course, and he's like, "Oh, what's his real name? What's his birthday? What's his address? What's his ID number?" And somehow Kong Pop knows all of that information, like off the top of his head.
Yeah, it's crazy that that's even, like, available for him to know.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, who's sitting around, like, memorizing your friend's ID's numbers? Like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. But then I don't know if this happens at this point or maybe it's later on, but then he also like Arheet tells Kongbap to say everyone's name in their
Mhm.
class, and then he like gets mad because he forgets, I think it's May's name. And he like freaks out like, "Oh my god, you don't care about your classmates because you
Mhm.
forgot one of their names," but he knows all 50 plus of them. Like, okay, sure.
Yeah, that happens, yeah, immediately after. Like, come on. Like, this dude's he's learned so much, like, you know. Um, and so because of that, for the punishment, they are having the freshmen do these like physical activities and they're like running and stuff and like one girl like literally like passes out and which is bad and M also gets hurt. So like him and Kong go to the infirmary and Fang is there cuz I don't know, she's always wearing like a nurse's outfit but she's in the engineering department. I don't really know what her deal is, but
With all the hazing, I guess they need nurses
Y-
on staff.
yeah. Yeah, she's probably like a nursing student designated to the engineering department because people are always getting hurt here. And oh, and so while they're there, she asks Kong if he wants to participate in some like star contest, which will come back later, but that's kind of the first time we hear about it. And then she kind of like takes care of them, and then Artit shows up, and they're scared, but he just kind of gives them some fruit and leaves. Um, which is like the
Aw, he's
first
being
time.
nice.
Yeah, it's the first
What a
time we
sweet
see him
boy.
actually caring.
He's a bully with good intentions.
Yeah,
Aw,
that is
what a
kind of what it
guy.
is, though. Like he genuinely, their thought process is like, okay, we need to like trauma bond these freshmen, and it works. You
True.
know, in fairness, but it's like it is like
Definitely
a
a
bullying.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting way to go about it, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, they might have been friends anyway, so I don't know if this was necessary, but and like I don't know, sometime later, it's like really late at night and M forgets Kong's lecture notes in the classroom. So Kong goes to go get them, and then he sees this like creepy ass hazers meeting. They're meeting with like some of the fourth year seniors, and I don't know, it looks really culty. But he they're like about to leave their meeting, so he hides like really badly. And of course, like Archie runs into him and he's just like, go home. And then Kong is like flirting with him some more. And I feel like this is probably the first time he's like flirted with him, but like the intention wasn't to uh like rile him up. It was just like, I don't know, for fun.
Genuine.
Actual
Yeah.
flirting.
Yeah. Yeah, that fruit really mended their relationship.
Oh, he was nice to me. I have a shot.
Yeah. Just
Right.
one time, that's all it takes.
Kong sees the enemies delivered are happening himself.
Yeah. Okay, so we're back to hazing, of course. Um, Artie kicks Kong out of this hazing event because once again, Kong is trying to be the hero, and Artie's not like mean or like mad about it really, but after like outside on the steps, he's like, the reason why I kicked you out is because you like they need to learn to like handle themselves, and if you are constantly stepping in for everyone and like playing the hero, then everyone's just gonna kind of sit and wait for you to save them every time. Which I kind of get it, because at this point I'm like kind of annoyed with Kong Pop just constantly trying to be the hero in every situation.
Yeah, he's always inserting himself, which in his defense, he just wants to help his friends, and I get that, but also at the same time it's like, dude, you keep getting singled out because you keep doing that. So just chill, they'll be fine.
He reminds me a lot of Harry Potter in that aspect.
Oh, true.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's an interesting comparison.
Yeah, because he's definitely main character energy. Obviously
Mhm.
is the main character, but that Gryffindor save everybody energy.
Yeah, I can see it. And so this is when Kong asks him, he was like, "Oh, so if the reason why you you're punishing me for trying, okay, all this time you're punishing me for trying to play the hero, but what about the time I asked for your signature? I wasn't trying to play the hero back then. I was just asking for your signature. Why did you punish me for that?" And RT doesn't answer it. So Kong's just like, "Oh, I bet you did it because you liked me."
God, his way with words when talking with Art, he just makes me so giggly and so happy. I'm like, yes, get him.
Yeah, it's fun to see that the tough exterior cracking.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I think my favorite part about the show is they're just so good at keeping the tension. With every little
Mm.
interaction, it just increases the tension more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And we are in Kong Pop's dorm, and we see that his dorm overlooks the balcony of Archie's dorm, and he's just kind of peeping at him every now and again.
Peeper
So weird.
alert.
Yeah. So yeah, it seems like at this point Kong's definitely caught feelings, because he's just literally just watching him hang his clothes.
Yeah, and then smiling to himself because he'll often just do something weird, or because he's half awake sometime.
Mm-hmm.
When he's out on his balcony, so you'll just see Kong just smile, being all smiley, and it's like, ooh, he's got feelings. We love to see it.
And speaking of feelings, it seems like May is developing a crush on Kong. So it's kind of happening.
Dun dun.
Yeah, a little love triangle, kinda, not really.
But also at the same time, we start learning. I don't know if this is later, but we start learning that M
Mm-hmm.
has some feelings for May, so it's just a big old rectangle.
Yeah, that's true. Love rectangle. And they're also we have the official nominees for the Star Contest. It is Kong Pop and Prepelin. They will be representing the engineering department for this seems like a beauty contest pretty much. And all the different departments in the university are competing, and so they're the two representatives. And then while they're doing a photo shoot for this, one of the seniors tells Kong, he keeps being like, "I can't tell you this. I shouldn't tell you this." "Okay, I'll tell you." And he's like, "Oh, so Artit's been dismissed from the hazing team because the teachers heard about that one girl fainting during that activity, and they kicked him out pretty much. So we have a couple hazing sessions where he's not there, but the freshmen don't know why. Kind of short-lived though. But
Yeah.
so then later Kong Poppy's getting food. He has to share a table with Artit because they're all filled, and that was the only seat open, of course. I don't know why I thought this was funny, but Artit's just nose deep in a newspaper.
Yeah. I also thought that was interesting. Okay.
I know this was 2016, but I don't like think college students were like really into newspapers back then. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems a little off, but like it's possible. Maybe it was like
Maybe like
a
campus
student.
paper.
Right, right. But still, I don't remember the last time I actually genuinely read a newspaper. I don't think it was even in 2016, 2017, whenever.
You know,
I think the last newspaper I read was my college newspaper in 2013.
yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
Me as well, because someone interviewed me, like journalism student interviewed me because I was in a podcasting class, and so he was interviewing me about the class. And then I grabbed the newspaper when the article came out, so that was the last time I read the paper. It's kind of ironic. Okay, and then he calls like Kong a baby because he can't handle spicy food. And then immediately after, the waiter comes in with pink milk for our teeth. So he gets teased about that, which is just
That was
funny.
like one of the moments that I like rewatched just today, and immediately I wrote that in my list. It's so cute because he's like, "Ugh, I can't believe you can't handle spice." And then he's like, "Oh, here's your pink drink." And then he's like, I didn't order that." And the waiter's like, "No, like I know it's right. You get this all the time." It's so funny.
She's like, don't even try.
Yeah. Like you like that pink little pinky milk. You can't deny it.
Yeah. I love how this becomes like his brand the rest of the show is pink milk.
Mhm.
Wiki page for Sotus,
Mm-hmm.
they have like all the characters listed and like information about them, like remarks about them, and like likes to drink pink milk is one of them that made it into the wiki page.
Aw.
It's one of his most defining traits.
Yeah, it honestly is. But do we think it's like I would assume it's like a strawberry milk drink. But they
Yeah,
just
that's what I thought
referred
it
to
was.
it as like pink milk. And so
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm curious. What's so good about it?
I would think it's strawberry.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Should have made some for this episode.
Ugh, yeah. That
Maybe
would've
on
been a
release
good
day
idea.
I'll make some. Oh, I'll do it at work. I'll do some strawberry and some milk, but it's not gonna be good because that's just strawberry and milk. Well,
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah,
it'll be
strawberry
good.
milk. Yeah, it's probably fine. Maybe not my ideal go-to drink, but eh,
Yeah.
maybe I'll eat something spicy. Because
Oh.
because Kong later, like, Art Heat, like, oh, also at this time, like, Art Heat gets a call and has to, like, leave. So they get their food, and Art Heat makes, like, Kong Bop switch their meals. So, like, he makes Kong eat his meal, and then he immediately leaves, doesn't even eat his meal, but then he pays for everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Aw, he's so caring." Um, but then he also, like, makes Kong eat it with, like, a bunch of chilies, and so, like, at the end, like, when he's, like, almost done with the meal, because of course, like, Art Heat left, but of course Kong is still going to sit there and eat the really spicy meal, even though he can't handle spice. But at the end, he orders a pink drink for himself, and it's like,
Mm.
"Aw." So cute.
Yeah. That's like the thing with every harsh thing Artit does, he kind of balances out with something like sweet. So
Right.
he gets way more likable as the show goes on. And the freshmen, they're all like preparing for their like the freshie day, which is where the star competition's happening, and they're also trying to put together like a basketball team. And Archie comes in with the hazers. What I was confused because I was like, wasn't he dismissed? But um I don't know, he's back. And he was like, okay, just like gatherings like are canceled for the week so you guys can prepare for Freshie Day. So everyone's very excited for Freshie Day. But they're like, you guys, you better win. Like, or else. Like, you have to win your events.
So dramatic.
I know. It's like, okay, it's a basketball game. And Kong, he like helps May finish. She's like painting something for, I don't know, some sign for the event, and M is just like staring at them like pathetically from the background. I love M. He's just so like soft and sad looking all the time, but I love him. And but then afterwards M hangs out with May, and yeah, you can see he's down so bad for her. He really likes her, which is cute. I do support this pairing.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, at like a food stall, Kong and Artie, they run into each other. Kong is like, if I win the Freshie Star, what will you give me? And Artie's just like, whatever, you know. But that'll come back later. And they, I just skipped some of this basketball part because I'm just like, whatever, I don't care. But
So did I.
Yeah. The engineering people, they end up winning the final basketball game, and they're all happy and celebrating, and Kong tells Artie to come watch him. He's like, hey, the star contest is after, you should come watch me in that. And then Artie, he mentions to his friends that like he's gonna go to the star contest, and his friends are like why? Like, you've never gone to that before, you've never been interested, like, is there someone there you're like, you know, interested in watching? So I love the group of like the Hazer friends. Outside of hazing, I do really like them a lot. They're always really funny, and like, you know, they like vibe well off of each other. Especially like
Mhm.
Off's character, he does such a good job just being like comic relief.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But yeah, they're like, when they're hazing, when they're not hazing, it's like night and day. And it's the Freshie Star contest, which is quite a name. And for the for the talent portion, Kong and Pepe Lane, they perform a song together, and it's so bad.
So insanely bad.
Oh god, the singing is awful. Prey is holding a guitar, does not strum that bitch even once.
Literally, that was one of the like last bullet points in my list of crazy things that happens in the show, because I was like, why is she holding that? And like the second song she starts like strumming it, but I was like, what's happening?
Yeah. It's rough. She pretends to in the second song. I love Jan so much. She's my favorite.
Yeah, and like the first song that they sing is like the if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. And it's like, when that came up, I was like genuinely shocked because I was like, what are we doing here? What is this?
And they also make us sit through 3 songs.
Yeah.
Was hitting fast forward when I watched
You
this.
know,
Yep. Yep.
Whenever a Thai drama someone breaks up the guitar, I'm immediately fast forward. But this one, 3 songs?
No, I was watching it at 2 times speed at this point, and even that I couldn't handle.
4
I was like,
times.
I just skipped like 10-second increments until it was over because I just couldn't do it.
And the lights go off mid-performance, but they keep going. I don't know. I don't know why that was necessary, but
The drama, I don't know.
yeah. Like, oh no, they can't sing with the lights off.
Watch them.
Yeah. And after the talent section is like the question portion. And oh no, Kong is asked a question about what he thinks of the Sotus system. But he ends up giving like a pretty pageant answer, so no one's like mad about it. And at the end of the competition, Prey and Kong Pop, they win every award. They sweep. There's like 3 awards and they win all 3 of them.
As they should. Good for
Yeah.
them.
I am convinced that the only department in the school is engineering, though.
Yeah, that's definitely what they like make it seem like, that
Mhm.
they're just like the most important ones. I mean, obviously all the characters are in it, but it's like we don't really see much from like anyone else.
And so after the competition, Artie he like goes backstage and Kong goes up to him. He's like, "I won." And Artie's like, "Okay, like what do you want?" Cuz previously Kong was like, "Oh, if I win, you have to do something for me." And then Kong was like, "I'll save it for later." Artie's just like, just do it now, but whatever. Like, okay. So that's on the back burner. And then Artie okay, so Artie thanks Not because his friend Not was the one who talked to the teachers to get his position back. So that's why Artie is back now, even though they explained it like way later. And Not is just he's a really sweet guy. I like him a lot. He's one of my favorite characters. He's always just like a really good friend.
Mm-hmm.
And after the contest, the freshmen are all drinking. The girls kind of nudge May to go congratulate Kong Pop, so she goes to do that. And then M and May talk afterwards, and she asks, she's like, "Hey, you've known Kong for a really long time. Does he like anyone?" Rest in
Please
peace.
never know the answer to that.
Yeah, yeah, right? Like what? Of course M is just like, I don't know, but
Poor
yeah,
boy.
he's big sad now. But that is funny, yeah. And once again, they're being hazed. The fourth year seniors come in though, and they scold Artite for making them do all these physical punishments. They're like, yeah, these are too harsh. If you are making the freshmen do them, then you better be prepared to do them yourself. So they make Artie do all the punishments, the physical ones that he's made the freshmen do, such as like the squats and the push-ups. And then the last thing he's doing is running the 54 laps. And he's going at it like all damn day. Like Kong is like throughout the day, it keeps hearing people be like, "Oh yeah, he's still running." And so Kong goes outside, and Archie's still running, and it's like pouring rain now. And he runs up to him. He's like, "Hey, I only ran 7 laps, so like you don't have to do this. You should stop. Like I didn't." He's like, "Why would you do this punishment if I didn't even do it?" And Archie's just like, "No, the hazers told me to do this, so I will." And Kong just
Like
like,
dramatic.
yeah, I know. Kong just like sits at the bleachers where like everyone's just like watching him run these laps.
It's so weird.
And then he finishes, they all cheer. That's nice. But yeah, it's like this is like one of the most dramatic scenes, and I'm like, for what?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of drama in here. I mean, at some point soon-ish, we come to like the actual most dramatic scene, but this is like pretty high up there on
Yeah.
the drama. It's just like, okay, good job.
I appreciate the dramatization though of everything because like not if you think about it plot wise, like not that much happens. Like everything's very subtle, but they do find a way to make it all feel very like high stakes.
That is true. Yeah, I appreciate that because yeah, it kind of sounds boring, like just everything that happens, like, oh, they're hazing again. Oh, now they're like just hanging out and now Kong is flirting with him. Like there's not a whole lot that actually happens, but the fact that they're just like so dramatic over everything actually
Mhm.
makes it kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a first watch through, it definitely kept me like focused on it. I didn't want to drop it like immediately
Mhm.
Mhm.
because it was even though it's not a lot, it's still like there's plenty that is sort of happening.
Yeah.
And it's yes, they're hazing again, but it's like a different hazing every time. So
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
very creative with it.
Yeah. Shout out the hazers. They came up with some interesting stuff.
Mhm.
And so the next day, like Artie, he is laying in bed. He's recovering from doing all that crazy physical activity. He's just like out of commission. And Prem's taking care of him. Prem goes down to buy some pink milk, and Kong sees him. Prem gets a call, and he has to go. And he's like, "Hey, Kong, can you take this pink milk up to Artie?" And of course, Kong is like, "Oh, my lucky day." And also a side note, so he goes into Artie's room, but his room has the craziest decorations. He has like a Charles Manson poster and an Obama poster.
Absolutely insane. Like, did no one do their research on any of the decorations? Because that's insane.
I know. And like most of it's like classic rock bands, but yeah.
Manson.
Yeah, the Manson poster specifically, I was like, what? But yeah, Kong does make fun of him for having a messy room, which is funny. But he helps him with the laundry, and he's kind of just like going around like cleaning shit and like helping him. He's like ironing clothes, and Artie's like, "Oh my god, you don't have to do that." But then they start talking about like some of his comics and stuff, and he's like figurines. And it's kind of like this is a cute moment for me because it does show that like they have things in common other than hazing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God.
Yeah, yeah, right. It does. I feel like it does add like a lot of depth to their relationship, which I don't know. I feel like sometimes in other shows it's just like sometimes I feel like characters have no reason to like each other other than the fact that
Proximity.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
what I was gonna say. It's because at this point, like before this, it's like, why does Gong like him? Like, why is he crushing on him? Like, you like, what is wrong with you? But then it's like little moments like this where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe they could like get along. They do have some things in common. Now it kind of starts making sense, but before that, it's like, what is wrong with you, my dude?
yeah. And then before Kong leaves, he gets a call from someone named Namtan, but he ignores the call. And Kong's like, "Oh, that's weird." So the teachers, they want to ban the hazers from this like field trip that they've been planning. Because they're afraid that the hazers are literally going to kill the freshmen. They're not in very good standings right now. So
Some of the parents concerned too.
yeah, the parents are concerned. I mean, they like had a girl like
Yeah.
pass out.
Yeah. My mom would have pulled me out of school. Even as a college student, my mom would have been like, no.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's like very fair. Why the teachers don't want them to take a bunch of freshmen out in the middle of nowhere, like alone with no other supervision. So yeah, the hazers are trying to, get that trip going. But oh boy, Wad, he's getting in a fight. And Prem
Wad.
steps in and like beats them up. It's like a 5v2. And then so they're like kind of getting shit on. But then the police show up and the guys run away, and we get this like romantic foreshadowing of them. They're just kind of like clutching each other after they've been beaten up.
If only.
If only. This will go nowhere, but I wish it did.
I think we all do.
Yeah, because it's kind of like the two like delinquents, you know?
Well, it's like
Mhm.
it's an even better enemies to lovers, if I'm being honest, than like Arheet and Kong.
It's more enemy.
Yeah.
So, the hazers, they're talking about this flag capturing event. It's basically the final thing they need to do before they like finish their hazing, and then after that is supposed to be the field trip. But they're just telling like the freshmen to prepare for that. And Kong, he goes to dinner with some seniors. So I guess it's a thing where like your ID number, you they basically it's like a dinner with people who have the same ID number as Kong Pop. So every year someone has that ID number. It's like 0062 or something. And so they are all together, and like one of the people in his ID line is marrying someone else, and it's like the same numbers, but they're like scrambled. I don't remember, but it's like 0206 or something. And that whole like ID line is there as well. And Artate is a part of that ID line. So of course he's there too now. And we find out that his nickname is Ioun. And some of the seniors call him that. And so Kong kind of teases him about it. And Artate's just like, don't fucking call me that. And Kong's like, I won't. And they ask Kong why he's studying engineering. And he was like, well, I actually wanted to study economics, but my mom told me to study engineering. And Artate's, he's a big, like, bitch about this. He's, like, really upset. And I guess it's because engineering is life. But
Uh,
it's so...
When you have one thing that's your entire personality and that's it.
Yeah, right.
right. No, it makes like total sense why like he was so like dead set and like so determined to make sure that they thought getting that shitty little necklace was like it's like death or you get this. Like
Yeah.
he was so serious about it, and it's like at this point it's like yeah, that okay, now we get it cuz he's like so into engineering and just thinks it's like insane that Kong would consider anything else.
And so later on, we do kind of learn that one of the reasons why he feels this way is because he's worried that Kong will transfer out, and he probably doesn't realize he has feelings for him yet, but he's like afraid like, oh, he's gonna leave. But we don't know that now. But it's funny because he goes up.
So cute.
Yeah, he goes up to Knot and he tells him about this, and he's like, "Can you believe it?" And Knot's just like, "So what?" Like, he's like, "That's very normal to like switch your major."
Mm-hmm.
The normal response.
Yeah, right. I love their friendship because it's just like a lot of times it's Artite being like crazy, and then it's not just being like very level-headed with him.
Right.
We all need that friend.
We do. And Prem and Wad, they run into each other at the pharmacy because they're getting medicine for their beat up face. And they're nice to each other. And Prem like kind of kindly asks Wad like, "Hey, you should come to the next like event, like the final event, because you know Wad's been skipping them since he got kicked out." So yeah, a little romantic foreshadowing there, I guess. I don't know if it's foreshadowing if it ever happens, but you know, I think that's what they were going for. And it's Flag Day. They have to solve some puzzles to get past each hazer to go up the steps to get the flag. I don't know. Basically, like, to not completely go into it because it's kind of boring, but May realizes that there are like 5 stages, and so Kong is like, oh, maybe it's like, you know, Sotus, because Sotus has 5 letters, and each letter stands for something. It's like seniority, order, some. I don't know.
Speaking of Sotus standing for something, when I first heard people talk about the show Sotus, I thought it actually like stood for something. Like I see like it say a lot. Like I told Sunset about you,
Yeah.
and I thought it was the same thing, and it took me forever of like Googling to realize no, the show is just called Sotus.
That's true. That's probably so confusing. I do think at the end of the show, they come up with a different acronym for it, but where they're like, oh, it stands for the story between us or something. I don't know. That might be season 2, but yeah, it's funny. But they pass each stage one by one, and the last one is the last S in Soda stands for spirit, I guess. And so they all thank Artite for what? I don't know. He's just been bullying y'all. But then they do the headbang thing with him in the middle, and they're all just like headbanging towards him. It's so
Literally,
weird.
it sounds like a cult.
It is.
It is. Yeah, it doesn't just sound like it. It maybe is.
But yeah, I guess I don't know. They pass, and then they have a rope bracelet tying ceremony where all the seniors tie little bracelets onto the freshmen. And Kong finds Archie crying behind like one of the buildings. And he asks him to like tie a bracelet. It's heartwarming, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think Archie's just very like touched by the whole, you know, like they did it, you know, they made it.
He I think this is one of those moments where it's like super obvious, like he's not bullying just to be like an asshole. Like
Mhm.
he really has good intentions behind it, whether or not the hazing is unhinged.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
Mm-hmm.
His heart's in the
and
right
it's one of
place.
those I'm like, yeah, and it's one of those where I'm like, okay, like I'm so not for hazing of any sort, whether it's this or something else, but like I at least kind of get where he's coming from. Maybe I don't hate him so much.
Yeah.
Right.
And Wad also has Prem tie his bracelet and they like apologize to one another.
Aw. I
Okay.
wanna because we didn't get a lot of WAD, which we'll get to in a bit, but I want them to do like I mean it's definitely well past the time of doing this, but I wish they had like a break off of the show where it's just about those two.
I know. To this day, I want to know what happened so bad with Wad just like dropping out in the middle of the show.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense and I'm really upset about it, but it's fine.
Yeah. That would be fun though to have. And I heard the next episode, this is off topic, but there was like Kyuhyun from Super Junior, he had some like ad and it really just like took me out for a second.
There was one in like I think episode like 2 or 3. He was like one of the beginning ads as well. I don't know if it
uh
was for soju, but it was for something, and I was like, "Hello, what are you
y-
doing here?"
I know.
Yeah,
2016.
that brings up a good point though. Like the ad placements in the show are just something. Like they definitely have like a Coke ad
Mhm.
where it's like very clearly they're like placing the bottles of it like on a table so precisely and like this happens multiple times where they like wake up someone by like putting a Coke bottle like on their arm and then they like wake up because of the shock of how cold it is. But I don't know. The ad placings, not only just like at the beginning of each episode, but just like in the episodes themselves are very interesting.
Oh, Sydney. After some of the other Thai dramas have the craziest ad placements, like this is like nothing, I feel.
Okay,
This is pretty normal now.
Yeah.
okay, got it.
Um, my personal favorite, there's a couple printer ads in Bad Buddy where the characters have to change the printer ink multiple times throughout the show.
Oh,
Ooh, and in 4 minutes, the show that we're watching right now, they're sponsored by Durex. So they're constantly just like pulling out like Durex condoms. It's funny.
I think this is a like mini episode for you guys to just talk about like the weirdest ad placements in Thai dramas.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. I think my favorite is still besides the Durex because that's hilarious and those scenes are insane anyway.
Hmm.
But besides that, it's the like toothpaste ads in Pit
Oh
Babe.
my god.
It'll be the most dramatic scene in existence, and then it'll cut to somebody brushing their teeth, and then it goes back to the most insane thing in
What?
existence.
Oh, I need to watch that as soon as possible. That sounds
It's
incredible.
it's so fucking funny. I like get whiplash from that show.
Can't wait for season 2.
I know, right? More toothpaste.
Maybe they'll get Durex ads too. They also had some crazy NC scenes.
Wait, I'm so down, honestly. Durex could find quite the market in Thai BL shows.
Yep.
Honestly.
Yeah. Sotus is very tame, of course. There's no sex in the whole show, but things have changed since then.
when I started watching Only Friends, and then I
Oh.
was okay. This is a sidetrack. I'm so sorry. I have to say this, but so Shy has been trying to get me to watch that for a while. I go to
So
a
good.
hockey game, and
Oh, no.
I was like, it was like me and like 3 other people in the stands. It's like a league kind of thing. So I'm
Oh, no.
sitting there, and I was like, I should do something. So I brought my headphones and I was like, oh, I'll start watching Only Friends. That was a bad choice. That was a really bad choice. I'm thinking, like, I haven't watched really many Thai BLs at all. And so I was thinking, like, Sotus level tame. That was fucking silly. That was really silly, goofy of me. I definitely did not get very far. So there's that. Anyway, yes, Sotus, very tame.
So, since Sai apparently doesn't warn you, if you watch 4 minutes or Pit Babe,
Yeah,
don't do it in public.
got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry.
You
Yeah.
should be.
I'm sorry. I was thinking like, oh, Only Friends. It sounds like Only Fans. Like you'll know it's a dirty show, but yeah,
I'm
I didn't.
stupid, okay?
No, it's okay. I should have warned you, but that's honestly so funny.
But honestly, it was I kind of enjoyed the shock, but it was like the fact that I was out in public. I was like, "Oh, okay, never
Yeah.
mind."
Yeah, you'll have to
I'll
pick
watch
someone,
this only at home.
pick it back up sometime when you're alone.
Yes, I certainly will.
On another note, the teachers finally okay the field trip. They've been convinced. And so they all go to the beach and they have their little beach episode and they play some like team building games. And then I don't know why. This is here we go. The seniors, they tell all of like the freshman men, they're like, you guys have to go sit in the ocean. And then they play like music for the ladies and the guys in the ocean, they're like kind of pissed because they're like, oh, they're having so much fun over there and we're just wet in the ocean. And to this day, I don't understand what is happening. Kong, like, he gets mad and he runs out, he goes up to the hazers and he's like mad and yelling at them and they're like, you need to go cool your head. And so he runs back into the ocean and like fake drowns. What? And it's so dramatic. Artie runs in and saves him. And this is maybe the most perplexing scene I've ever seen in my life. Like, what happens?
I don't know. And it's so dramatic too. Like, think the most dramatic scene you could possibly think of, and that's what this is. And it doesn't make any sense at all. So it's just like dramatic and confusing and like a big what the fuck is happening kind of moment.
It's almost like it's just like malicious compliance almost. Like I don't know if he doesn't know how to swim or something and they were like go in the ocean and he was like okay even though he doesn't know how to swim and he like drowned. I don't know. I can't tell if he's actually drowning or if he's pretending to drown. I have no idea.
Right, and they don't really explain anything. Like no one says anything.
Yeah.
It's just like this happens and then that's it.
Yeah. This is the best scene of the show, I will say.
It truly is. It's one of those scenes that when you think of the show, that is what you think of.
Mhm.
Like
Or at least maybe it's
I
because like we've memed on this scene for like years.
that's very true, but like I can't imagine thinking of any other scene when it comes to this show.
That's fair. Yeah, that happens. I don't. To this day, I'm perplexed.
Yep.
And so everyone's fine, fortunately. I don't know. I feel like sitting in the ocean isn't really that bad anyway. Because normally when I go to the ocean, I do go sit in the ocean. But anyway, that night, Kong's friends they kind of like sneak alcohol into their rooms, and they're having a good time, and they're playing games, and they're talking, and they tease Kong and Prey, and they're just like, hey, you guys would be a really cute couple. Like, what do you say? And Prey is just like, Oh, I don't like men. Because she's gay. Woo!
Let's go.
Let's go, lesbians. Um, and when I first watched the show for the first time, this meant so much to me. Um, I was not expecting it at all, first and foremost. Like,
Mm-hmm.
caught me off guard. I also did not expect there to be like lesbians in this show. So
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, it was kind of like out of nowhere, but also it was like, hell yeah. Like I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
It was a great addition.
Yeah, Prey is my favorite character. She's
Mhm.
an icon. She's a legend. Um, May is relieved because she thought like Prey and Kong were having a thing, but that's not true. And this is kind of funny, but Prey is like she to her like two girlfriends. She's just like, oh, but don't worry, you guys. Like, I wouldn't like have feelings for you. Like, you're my friends. And May is just like, oh my god, if someone as like beautiful as you had feelings for me, like I'd be so happy. And I was like, that's a cute moment.
Mhm.
Yeah, but then the party's ruined when Artit finds them drinking and he's like upset and storms off. And Kong chases after him and Artit's just like, I'm gonna cancel your activities tomorrow. So,
Ooh.
buzzkill.
Well, it's funny because like him and the other hazers made them like drink so much that one
Yeah.
time. It's like, and now all of a sudden, oh, I'm gonna cancel all your activities because you decided to have a drink.
Yeah,
Boom.
I know. Tomato. But the next day there is still some performance going on, so I guess they have some activities. But they like someone's like singing and then they decide to send two freshmen up to like do like a little reenactment of the like the wife situation that happened earlier in the show. The like with the gear. and-
Stressed me out so much.
I know. This scene's so good. It did stress me out too because they do that and then the seniors come in and they are like mad. They're like pissed, like, all the freshmen have kind of like a trauma response. But then they play a video and the video is just like, haha, just kidding. You're officially our juniors. We love you guys. And they're all just like kind of pretending to be upset at them for these things, which they got me. I was scared.
Honestly, yeah.
Same.
And so this officially kind of marks the end of the hazing. I don't think they ever haze them once after this. They've kind of completed their program and they do the ceremony thing where the seniors are like sitting on the ground and they're like making a bridge with their arms and then the freshmen have to walk over them and then on the other side they get their gear. So
It was so weird to me.
I know.
Yeah, I don't understand that part, but
Yeah,
it's fine.
symbolic or something.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just the walking on top of people was
Yeah.
a bit much for me.
I know.
Maybe
It's
it's
probably
because they're
so tiring.
engineers and they like build bridges.
Mm.
I don't know.
I think you're onto something. But they finally get their gear. That's been so important this whole show. And so they get their gears. And then Artit's kind of sitting on the beach alone, and Kong goes over to him, and Kong starts talking kind of about the hazing soda stuff, and Artit's just like, stop, like, I don't want to argue. He just walks away. Kong's looking sad. But then Artit comes back with a drink for Kong, and they like sit and chat. It's so cute.
At this point, I was sold on the relationship, not gonna lie.
I know.
Yeah.
Their best moments are when, because a lot of the show before this, it's not like one-on-one, like they're always in groups with other people, but like when they start, have like doing things alone together, it's really cute.
Mm-hmm.
And Kong says he finally wants to cash in his favor that he won for winning the star contest. And he just asked Kong, he's like, hey, like, can you come with me to buy something this Saturday? And which pretty reasonable. And they like exchange numbers. But then Kong is like, hey, can you take care of this for me? And he gives him his gear that he just got, which means nothing to us. But
Scandalous.
I know. But then Artit asks his senior, his name's Deer. He's like, well, what does it mean if someone asks you to take care of their gear? And first of all, Deer is like, you're the head hazer, you should know this. But he's like, but second of all, the gear is the heart of the engineering student. So they're asking you to take care of their heart. Crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. So Artit's kind of got an idea now that Kong has feelings for him. So
Which is hilarious because it's like,
That's hard.
have
Yeah.
you been here? Have you not noticed? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And on the bus ride back, they after some seat shuffling, they end up sitting next to each other. And then by the time they like go back to school, like Artit's like asleep on his shoulder. That's cute. And it's Saturday and it's buy something time and Kong is dressed up like so nice, like it's a date. And I think Artit mentions that too. He's like, you look like you're going on a date. And all he wants to do, he's just like buying a plushie for his niece. So I guess he needed Artit's help for that. He didn't need his help for that, but it's a date, you know.
He needed an excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they run into Namtan, who we haven't met yet, but she's the one who called Artit that one time he ignored her. And so Namtan and Artit, they talk for a little bit, and she kind of mentions like, oh, like you haven't answered my calls, you've been ignoring me, whatever. And after she leaves, Kong asks him if he likes Namtan, and he's like, yes, I do, but my friend started dating her first because I was too afraid to ever confess. And he's like, honestly, I still sometimes like hope they would break up, but it's been 3 years and they haven't. So,
Ooh.
yeah,
It's a tough situation to be in.
it is. Yeah, yeah. I do feel bad for Artit, but he's also like mentions like, yeah, but it's, you know, it's no one's fault but my own because like I never spoke up. I never said anything.
I like somebody who's self-aware.
Yeah. Unlike freaking Wei and Pit Babe. God, this other character in Pit Babe, he same thing. He was like crushing on this guy for like many years and then he refused to tell him and then he got mad when he started dating someone. I was like, okay.
Yeah, at that point, the only person you can be mad at is yourself.
Yeah.
It's your way.
Yeah. Oh, Wei. How things could have turned out differently. And then they run some other errands. Artit goes and gets his hair done, and so during the show, he's got 2 hairstyles. He's like the down hairstyle, and like that looks nice. It's just unstyled. And then most of the show, it's like slicked back, and it looks like shit.
Yeah,
like
I
a
have
helmet.
to agree with this.
Yeah, down definitely looks better.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so he doesn't even get a cut. He just gets it like slicked back. And of course the hairdresser is like, much better now. But then he also mistakes them as like boyfriends. Like he calls them boyfriends. And I mean, clearly it is a date, but you know. Teehee. And then Kong Pop flirts with him some more, of course. And then they go home from their date, but his room is like flooded. And so they end up working together to like dry it. But then, of course, Artit has to stay the night in Kong's room, which I love. It's like the having to share a bed trope. Like, oh,
Yes.
so good.
I forgot that this was a show from 2016, and I expected something a lot spicier to happen than what does.
Yeah,
I
you would
know.
think, but yeah, it's fine. We'll take it.
Oh, well, and it's funny too because at this time, the fact that there are kisses in this show was shocking. Like that was like so
True.
scandalous, you know. So it's funny to like look back at and like see the difference. And so they are in Kong's room. Artit realizes he's like, oh, like you can see my room from your room. Like, you know, why didn't you tell me? Or like, I don't know. And they kind of talk about how like Artie's just like, oh yeah, I'm always like, you know, doing embarrassing things on the balcony, like stumbling around half awake, whatever. Like, why didn't you like tell other people? And then Kong says something, I don't remember, but it's like kind of flirty where he's just like, oh, I wanted to keep you to myself. And this is gay
It's not
enough.
creepy.
Yeah, right. It is kind of creepy, but um this is gay enough where Artie just straight up, he like looks at Kong and he's like, "Do you have feelings for me?"
We love a confident man.
Yeah, I love the directness. Like I hate like miscommunication and stuff. So I appreciate that he just like he flat out like asks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And Kong kind of plays dumb. He's kind of just like, "Well, what do you mean by that?" And Artie's just like, "Okay, like whatever. I'm gonna go shower, go to bed. Like I'm tired, you know. I'm not gonna deal with this tonight." And so they lay in bed together to sleep, and he thinks, or maybe I don't know, he hopes that Artie is asleep. He's not. And Kong Pop like confesses his feelings. He's like, you know, what you asked earlier, like, yeah, I do have feelings for you. And Artie hears this, and it's like, it's so cliche, but it's just still so well done.
Mm-hmm.
And the next morning, I thought it was kind of funny. Artie, he has to give himself like a pep talk to like act normal. He's like looking at himself in the mirror. He's like normal. But he doesn't act normal because he like kind of quickly leaves the place and he forgets all of his books at Kong's apartment. So, like Kong's trying to return it, but Artie's just like avoiding him altogether. Not suspicious
dumb.
at all. Yeah. And at lunch, someone comes over with like a questionnaire about like dating and stuff on campus, and they kind of all tease Artie for never having a girlfriend. And they're just like, oh, is it because like you're like a hit it and quit it type guy or whatever? But we know it's because he's been like pining for Namtan and stuff. Which ironically, she gives him a call and she kind of asks him to meet her. But so he like hangs up the call. He returns to the questionnaire, and there's one question where you have to pick what gender you're attracted to. And he just like fully gay panics and just like checks female and like that's it. Like
Oh, sweet summer child.
yeah. And Kong, he finally finds Artie after class and tries to give him his books back, but Artie is a bitch, of course, and he walks off. And not like kind of grills Artie on like what's going on, because he's like, why are you acting like this? Like, why are you being cold towards Kong? Like, there's no reason for this. Which once again, not is just like being the single level-headed person here.
Mm-hmm.
And Artie, he goes to meet up with Namtan, and we kind of have a flashback of them when they're freshmen and they're with their friend Jay. And so we see kind of their dynamic back then. And we also, Namtan basically invited him there because she's like, yeah, I'm really upset because like Jay's been not treating me super well. He made me wait for 4 hours on their anniversary, like at the restaurant, like basically stood her up. And she's like basically getting fed up, and she's just like, other people wouldn't have like stuck with this for so long. Like, I don't know if I should continue.
Answer is no.
No. Yeah, fuck Jay. Like,
Yeah,
that's
screw that.
so messed up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also people that stay at like in these shows when they stay at restaurants until the restaurant closes.
Yeah.
You've got like maybe an hour with me before I go home.
Yeah, 4 hours?
Yeah, no, like I maybe stay an hour.
Like, I know they were together for 3 years, but like, damn, like just go home at that point. Ugh.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of interesting too how like Artite said before that he kind of wants them to break up. He's clearly not friends with Jay anymore and stuff. But during like while Namtan's telling him all of this, like he's being like a good friend and caring and stuff, but he's isn't being like, oh, you should break up with him, like, which this is a low bar, but I guess like good for him for not putting his like in like possibly selfish interests like in the way.
Yeah, that is true. It's another reason that you start to like realize like, oh, Art, he isn't like that bad of a person.
Mhm.
Like slowly he's like developing into an actual decent guy, and it's just so refreshing to see after like the first 5+ episodes of him just being the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, I genuinely love his character, and I love him more and more as he of course, like right now he is kind of being a dick to Kong, but like he's like I understand he's figuring shit out, you know?
Yeah, he's definitely panicking, and by panicking, he's just like avoiding the situation completely, like while he figures out like what's happening. So
Yeah.
like it's understandable.
And while they're there, Namtan's just like, "Oh, also my friend, she has a crush on this guy in your department. His name's Kong Pop." And Archie's like, "Oh my god, yeah, I know him." And she was like, "Oh, can you help me out? Like, what does Kong like? Like, what kind of snacks, whatever? Like, help me be matchmaker." And Archie just goes on this like really long and really specific rant about Kong's personality and all the things he likes and all the things he doesn't like, and it's just like it's crazy. And Namtan just looks at him, she's like, "Are you sure that like you don't like him? Because you seem to know him like super well."
Super valid question.
Yeah. Like he clearly likes him, so yeah, very valid. Um but also of course Kong Pop does like see them together at the restaurant. So I don't know. Yeah. And they're both kind of moping over this that night, and he's still ignoring Kong's messages, and he's debating for a while like to call Kong or not, and he finally does, and he's just like, "Oh, hi, those books, can you just like return them to the library for me? Like, okay, thanks, bye." And it's like a bad excuse to, you know, start a conversation that he clearly wants to have but doesn't know how. And Kong stops him, and he's just like, he's confused. He's upset why Archie is acting like this because he doesn't know if like Archie was awake when he confessed and stuff. So he's just like, "Why are you treating me like this?" And he's like, "Is it because I didn't answer your question that day? Because I'll answer it now." And I love this scene. And he kind of just starts going on this like speech about like, I don't know when it happened, I don't know why it happened. I know that like we're both men, but truthfully, and then like Artie hangs up because he once again is panicking and he doesn't want to hear the answer,
We love a good gay panic.
Yeah.
Except in this situation in which like Archie, you fucking idiot, but it's fine.
Yeah. It's like I do feel for him. Like I know he's being a dick, but like I do think it's understandable, like,
Right.
To learn about yourself.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
I mean, they should.
Especially in 2016.
Yeah, right. Like, it would be great if they could just talk things out right away, but, we got some processing
Talk things
to do.
out.
Yeah. Could never.
No. That's too easy.
Yeah. This is a beautiful scene, though. I really do like it. And the next day, they're both acting weird, and both of their friend groups are like, "What is wrong with you guys? Why are you acting so weird?" Kong kind of gives up on the books, and so he just gives them to Knot, and Knot's like, "Yeah, of course, like I can give it to him." And so when Knot goes to return the books, he's like Artie, like, what's going on? Artie's like, "Nothing." And then he's like, "Artie, you can tell me anything." Like he kind of knows what's going on, but
Of a supportive friend.
yeah. But Artie's just like, "Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing." Oh, by the way, like separate situation, but this junior has a crush on me. I don't know like how I feel about them. I don't know what to do. It's like, um, it's it's not subtle at all, but I think it's funny. And Not kind of makes some like metaphor about like the drinks they're drinking. So like he's drinking Americano, and of course, Artit's drinking pink milk. And Artit doesn't like the Americano, and Not doesn't like the pink milk or whatever. And Nat's just like, well, like you can, you don't need a reason or justification to like the things you like. Like he's just kind of just like, follow your heart. You don't have to overthink these things. And so that's like good enough advice, I guess, for the situation. We also have M. He asks Kong if he likes anyone, and Kong is like, yes. And M is like, I also like someone. And Kong is like, oh, you should tell her. But M is like, no, it'll ruin the friendship. And they're not naming names, so I think M thinks that they're both talking about May.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I don't know why they guys, please just like be more forward. Like just say like names or something, or like ask directly. And speaking of May, she's biking by them and she like gets like kicked with like a soccer ball and she gets like knocked off her bike. And Kong like runs over and helps her and he like bikes her away before M can do anything. And M's just like standing and staring, of course. And they go to the infirmary and May tells Kong that she likes him. And M overhears this and Kong tells her, he's like, yeah, I have feelings for someone else. And so, which is, yeah, sucks for May. She leaves. But then M comforts her and she asks him, she's like, do you like me? And he says he does. And she's just like, thank you. I'm not ready for this yet.
Boo.
But well, I mean, which is fair. She was like just rejected by the guy she liked like 1 minute ago.
I mean, yeah, but like, come on, it's M.
I know.
So
But
great.
they are still like they end the conversation on really good terms though. Like it's very understanding. It's not awkward at all. Like they're having a good time. So like things are like looking up, It's just like all in due time, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the "I'm not ready yet" isn't a straight no,
Mhm.
True.
you know?
It's just
So there's hope.
yeah. I was just
Let me
rejected.
process getting rejected, yeah. I think that's valid.
I think so too. I think this was a very mature conversation that they have.
Someone's gotta have a healthy response to something.
Yeah, right. Keep the balance. And then it's the wedding that was slightly mentioned earlier between the two seniors we don't really know, who have the same ID number as Kong and Artit. So of course they're both at the wedding. It is pretty awkward between them. Artit starts, he's trying to make like awkward small talk. With Kong, you can tell he just doesn't really know about it. And Kong, he's just like not having it. He's basically like, don't lead me on. Like, if you're trying to make an effort, like, it's gonna make me think I have a chance. So, like, don't do this. And Artie, he goes in and he speaks to the groom for some, like, advice on relationships and, like, happiness. And honestly, the show has some, like, really nice, like, some, like, deeper conversations, I feel. Because Artie's basically like, oh, if someone, like, if we're happy together, we should be together, but if we're making each other miserable, we shouldn't be together. And the groom's like, well, yeah, but, like, all couples, like, fight sometimes. Like, I love my wife, but, we've been happy together, we've been sad together, we've experienced everything together, and that's, like, what makes your relationship strong and stuff. So,
Yeah, it's not always sunshine.
yeah. And so, yeah, after this conversation, Artit, he runs, he finds Kong and takes him to a place and buys some food again. And Kong, of course, he's like, why are you doing this? Like, kind of just like, are you like, don't like lead me on kind of thing. And Artie's just like, just eat your food. And then they go to a bridge. And God, this scene's so fucking good. Artie does this thing. Yeah. He does this speech and he's basically like, you know we're both guys, right? And Kong's like, yeah. And he's like, you know that I'm like your senior. It's like, yeah. And he's like, well, you know that I can be like incredibly like stupid sometimes. And Kong's like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah. And he goes on, he's like, yeah, I can be like, you know, stubborn, I can be lazy, whatever, but like, can you accept me for like who I am? And Kong is like, yeah, like I can. Like, can you accept me for who like I am? And Artie's just like, to be honest, I don't know you well enough. And Kong looks sad. But then he's like, but I want to know more.
I led with that.
Yeah, right. And Kong's like, oh, okay, what do you mean? And Artie just grabs him by the tie and kisses him. It's so cute.
Incredible.
It is. When this happened, I was so surprised.
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. Like,
Mhm.
obviously, this is like a very, like, at this point, with just how things are going, you would think it would just like end in like a little handhold or something like
Mhm.
that. But when he just like grabs him, it's like, oh my God, okay, we're doing this. Sweet.
Yeah.
All of us.
It's so yeah, it's great, honestly. Like it's exactly what like needed to happen, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And they like when they're walking off the bridge, like Kong is like teasing him still. He's like trying to grab his hand and like they're just like being playful. It's really sweet. And we get a little bit of like school fluff and stuff, and then Artie gives Kong his gear. So now holding each other's gears. Sounds
And
like
other
a
things.
yeah, it sounds like a euphemism or something, but
Right.
and then Artie asks Kong, he's like, hey, you wanna come with me this Saturday to buy something? A little reversal. And then they go on their date. And then on their date they run into Prey. And Artie tells Prey, like, oh, we didn't come together, like we just bumped into each other. Boo. Yeah. So he still, yeah, I don't think he hasn't quite processed his being out like in public, you know, with Kong yet. So, you know,
Baby steps.
yeah, baby steps. And they're like eating food and stuff, and like I feel like Kong's pretty understanding. But like Artie, he asks Kong if he finds Prey cute. I think Kong is just like, yeah, like she's pretty cute, whatever.
Was not the right answer, dude.
Yeah, no, that's not what he was asking. Because once again, Kong knows that Prey is gay, but Artie doesn't know that, and I don't know if Kong knows Artie doesn't know that, but yeah. And then at school, like at lunch someday, the rest of like Artie's friends, they ask if like Prey and Kong are dating, and Artie's he's just jealous. And then he's like pretty cold to Kong for like a little bit. And it's just like, oh, don't do this to him, please. Communicate. And so I guess this is the next best thing. Artie goes to Not, his most sane friend. And Not once again he asks what's wrong, and finally Artie gives in. And he starts this with, if I tell you, promise me that you won't laugh at me. And oh, my heart breaks.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you can just see. Okay, I'd say Chris, he's a great actor. Like you can totally see
Mhm.
all of the emotions he's feeling. You can tell how worried he is about like other people's opinions on their relationship, and just starting it off with like, promise me you won't laugh at me. Just like he's just like so afraid of what, it is not like Not's not gonna laugh at you.
Right.
Mhm.
And yeah, there's like a montage and he tells Not everything about like what happened, and then he kind of like shares his concerns about like the future, and he was like, well, like, now I'm starting to worry like about how we'll be treated by society. I'm wondering if I'll be accepted by my family. Like, what if I want to have kids one day? And then he's like, I also wonder, I hope that like Kong won't regret being in a relationship with me like because of this. He's kind of worried like, am I gonna ruin his future if we like get into a relationship, which I think is like a really deep, it's a very like real conversation to have, especially in like 2016 if you're just like, you know, finding out you're gay for the first time. Like these are all like super valid, real concerns that I feel like I don't see discussed very much in like other BL shows,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like it's addressed in every once in a while in a drama for like 2 seconds, but it's like waved off of like, nah, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. And I do really like the way that like you can see Artit like as the character working through his like internalized homophobia to, you
Mhm.
know, like like learn about himself and all that. I think it's really well done. But of course not. He's like, well, like, did you ask him this? Like, did you ask him if he's afraid of these things, or are you just making assumptions? And he's just like, go talk to the boy, like, please.
Someone with a reasonable response.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, thank
He's like,
you, not for like explaining that communication is key. Like,
yeah.
just talk to him, dear God.
Not is like carrying the show right now.
Truly.
Yeah. It's just a very beautiful, heartfelt conversation. I mean, this is also the first person that Artit gets like full acceptance from, like in his, friend group and stuff. Which is something he was very worried about. Um, so that gives him the confidence to, they're at some other party. I don't remember like what this party is for, but it kind of looks like the wedding, but they're just not in like, they're just in like casual clothing. And Artit brings like everyone some like gifts, and then he gets to Kong, and they kind of like make up, and he's like, I have a special gift for you, and he's gotten them like couples bracelets. They're like matching bracelets, and he puts one on Kong, and then he has Kong put one on him, and I love this scene because in the background, it's like, I think it's like not in Prem, or it's two of his friends, and they're just kind of like teasing them about this, like they're just like mocking like putting bracelets on each other, but it's very like loving, and I think it's so funny.
It's so cute.
It's something like,
I love that, like, the Hazers friend group so incredibly much because, like, yeah, they go from, you absolutely hate their guts, but you just, like, see little bits and pieces of them, like, here and there, and they're just, like, so sweet.
yeah, they like care about their friends, and I mean, with a show like this, that is kind of the point,
Mhm.
So yeah, that's really cute. And then one friend, he asked them, like, he's like, oh, like, are you guys dating? And Kong's just kind of like, oh. And then Artit kind of just like grabs him, and he's like, so what? Like, so what if we are dating? And
So dramatic.
yeah.
Drama.
And like all of them, all the friends, they like kind of like, ooh, and they're like blushing and stuff. It's really cute. And so everyone knows now. And like Prem is talking to Artit about it, and they're like kind of awkward about it still, but they're like, it's like a process, I guess. They're like showing. I think they're kind of showing like different ways to be supportive, even if you aren't as amazing as Not is,
Mm-hmm.
And um, and then M is talking to Kong. Okay, this is the one part I would change of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, "Oh, we've known each other for so long. How come you never told me that you like men?" And Kong is like, "Oh, I don't like men. I just like our teeth." I'm like, "Okay, he is a man, so you do like men."
Right. Ugh, yeah, that is one of the downfalls of this, but also, like, I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't, like, give it excuses because that's just, like, gross. Ugh,
Yeah, this was kind of common for early BLs to do this kind of thing. They
right.
do this in Tharn type too, right?
And what?
There's a
Type the worst BL in existence.
Oh, okay.
yeah, we are not fans
I
personally, but I think they do
Yeah,
this in
it's very
there.
popular.
Hmm.
Mm,
Darn Type is one of the more popular ones. It's actually the first one I had heard of. Not the first one I watched,
Yeah,
but one I know one of them is I think both of the leads are gay though.
like the actors or in
No,
the
the
show.
characters
Okay,
in the show.
okay,
Because Mew's character for sure is gay.
okay,
Uh, I don't remember if Golf's character is, but I want to say he is. He just has a lot of trauma behind
okay.
it.
Never mind then. I was like, maybe I'm mixing it up with like Together, but there's definitely some
Yeah,
other show that like does this
yeah,
too.
yeah, for sure. But I want to say in Tharn Type they're both gay.
Okay.
Mew's character for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Um, my friend Mary likes Tharn type. Maybe we can.
I'm sorry.
We should have her on to talk about it.
Oh, I'd have to be
I
nice
know.
though.
No, it's okay. You can be mean to her. Um, but yeah,
Sorry to anyone who likes the show.
yeah.
Um,
No, she like we were like talking one day and she was like, "Yeah, that one's like kind of crazy, but I kind of like it." And I'm like, to each their own."
like if there was an essay in there, like maybe I'd be down, but
Yeah.
like when one of the
oh,
leads is literally like essaying the other lead, like I'm sorry.
uh, yeah,
Yeah.
I can't get behind that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, so a lot of I yeah, it's still not good. I do love when um like one of the first BL dramas I watched after Sotus, like many years later, was Bad Buddy. And I love that show. But they specifically make fun of this in the show. Like it's so good. They have one character where it basically asks the same question to the couple and like, "Oh, I didn't know like you were like gay or whatever." And then the main character, he was like, "Oh yeah, I think I'm like bisexual." And then she's like, "Oh, I thought you would say something like, oh, I'm not gay, I just like this one person." And they're just like, that would be like crazy." So I love the callback, but so yeah, that's the one thing I would change in the show, but it is what it is, and everything that happens before this is just like so very like progressive for queer people in media. It's just like,
Right.
okay, I can't like fault it too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm glad we've moved on for the most part from that.
Yeah, right. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
for sure.
If I saw this excuse in our year 2024, I'd be so shocked.
Yeah,
When
that's
we start
true.
adding the directors and the script writers on Twitter going, "What are you
Yeah,
doing?"
right.
Mhm.
Like shame, please.
JoJo would never, so
No,
it's fine.
we're safe.
I don't even who wrote this one. Is it anybody
Um,
we follow?
I think I tried looking it up and let me see. So it was directed and written by Lit.
Oh, I don't know.
I haven't really watched his other shows, I don't think. But he is doing the X morning, so.
Ooh, okay.
Um. Anyway,
Oh, he was the director for 11 Translation. You should watch that one. It's
Oh,
really cute.
yeah. You have mentioned that one so many times.
I don't shut up about that
Yeah,
one.
I will watch it. I am interested for sure.
Oh, he also did My Engineer.
Of course.
He loves the
I need to watch
engineers.
that one.
He does. Yeah. Meow ears up, he also did.
That sounds fun.
Looks very furry. Apparently he's from the ear tribe. That's a quote from the summary.
What? The comic book artist who grew up in an orphanage.
Okay, I'll add that to my watch later.
Yeah. It's on Viki, so.
Oh hell yeah. Okay. I'll finish up the last couple things we have here.
Oh, the cat turns into a human.
Oh,
Okay.
so it is like furry,
Ooh,
kind of.
okay.
Okay, I watched a Korean drama that did this though.
Oh really?
Um,
Copying.
I don't remember what the Korean drama was, but it was one of the last ones I watched before I switched to BLs.
Yeah. Well, no, it's a perfect combination. Okay. So after that, they have another kiss. It's on a rooftop. Cute again. And I don't know why they're having this discussion right now, but Kong is like, "Oh, do you like prey?" And then our dude's like, "No, like, aren't you the one that likes prey?" And then Kong's like, "No, she's a lesbian." So we got that wrapped up for some reason.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah. Like after they're like officially together, they're finally asking.
Yeah, exactly. Like they kiss and then they're like, "Wait, just to clarify."
Yeah. And um and then before the show ends, we get this whole like backstory about how they actually met before Kong started school there, and he was because he didn't want to study engineering, but he went for like I don't know 1 day or something, and he met Artie, and Artie was the one who like made him like want to study engineering. I don't know. I honestly don't really care at this point. Did you guys understand
That's
that
valid.
more than me?
I don't understand why they like just threw that in there, especially because like neither of them brought it up
Yeah.
like prior to this. So it's like, okay, sure, let's add something else to their story, I guess.
There's been like the trend in a lot of shows where there's always some connection to like before the story starts, like if it's childhood or something else. Because there's another school one that we watched recently, or I watched recently. Wait, wasn't it Love in the Air? Where Boss's character like gave the like protractor or whatever to to Rain where
I think so.
before, yeah, see, so it's like the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say that too. It's almost like they met as children, like crazy.
Yeah,
Right.
But
as close to that as they're gonna get.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like, oh, they were meant to be because they like met each other before, but like in this case, it was like not that long ago.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really like have that same effect.
I will say I will say the only reason why I think this might be kind of important is because it does make more sense why Kong was so head over heels for RT like right away.
Mm.
Like because from what we see their
Yeah.
first interactions are just bullying, but it does kind of like shift it a little bit if their first interaction was like RT was being like a really caring and meaningful person, when they first met. So
True. Yeah.
that's the only reason why I think like maybe it is important. But
Hmm.
and then we backstory of our as a freshman for no reason. I don't care at this point. And they end the show, they're like hanging out in the dorm together, and Kong is saying that he is planning to apply to be the head hazer because he wants to be the kind of the change in the system. Which I think is cool, you know?
Hmm.
So maybe he can, I don't know, bully people less. And that's the show. That's the last scene.
Show. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think it holds up still. Like, I was kind
I think
of,
so too.
I was worried about you watching it because I was like, there's so many, like, quote unquote, better shows now that I'm like, if you compare it, I don't know if you'll really like it. But yeah, I'm glad you still enjoyed it this in 2024.
Hmm.
I'm of the mindset that you can't compare something that's older to something new.
Yeah.
It's not fair to either show, honestly. Because it's things like the part where he's like, I'm not gay. It's only this one guy. Like that's not cool. That's not good. But it makes sense for the time period, right? Like that wouldn't fly now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But 2016 was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
We've come a long way in 8 years.
I mean, it was really only a year and a half after marriage equality became a thing in the US, you know?
God, was
That
that
is true.
2015?
I
Oh,
think it was it
oh,
24 June or no, it was 2014.
No,
oh
I think it
God.
was 2016.
What,
Oh,
2016? It was
No, wait,
2015. June
2015. Okay.
2015. Yeah. So it
okay. So
was
yeah, so a year before.
1 year, yeah. Um
Yeah.
so
So it's one of those. It's like I'm glad we moved on, and it's not a great response to anything, but it makes sense. And so it's one of those. I don't hold like stuff like that against shows when
mhm.
you have to pay attention because that's honestly like with cancel culture. That's kind of how I view a lot of stuff. Where when we start to dig up stuff that people are like tweeting or whatever in like 2001, I'm like, you got to remember what the culture was like back then. Right?
Right.
Like I can
Yeah.
remember some of the stuff I said as like a teenager where I'm like, holy shit, if I said that now, like
Yeah.
I would hate myself.
True.
Everything in like context, I feel.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so knowing that this is kind of like the pillar that started, the as much as I shit on like the university like shows, like the foundation for it. And part of the reason I shit on the university shows is I'm in my 30s. I've been out of college for a long time. I need something that I can relate to.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's so understandable. But yeah, she is the blueprint. Also kind of the blueprint for, yeah, a lot of the cliches and BLs. And so I'm excited to fill out. We have like a bingo sheet we do for shows. And I'm sure this show, it might be a blackout. We'll see. No one gets shot though. So
Yeah.
that's the one. I know that one won't be checked off. But
Oh my God, can you imagine instead of him drowning, he just gets shot or something?
well, luckily for
Insane.
you, someone almost drowning is a different square on that bingo
Oh,
sheet.
of course it is. Was this the inspiration for that square?
This and
Probably.
like Bad Buddy 2 and like every fucking show. Like Love Sea, he almost drowns too. That's a new show.
Why do they enjoy drowning? Potentially.
Drama.
Drama,
Yeah, I suppose. But like, have
drama
we not
and
thought of something better than drowning?
no.
Oh, okay.
Drowning's easy because there's a lot of
Yeah.
water in Thailand.
That is
Yeah, they
true.
there's like always like a beach trip. So
Yeah.
and it's not exclusive to Thailand either because there's that one Korean BL that we
Oh
watched with the
yeah.
surfing thing.
Eighth Sense.
The guy's
Or
a
Seventh
surfer and
Sense.
still drowns.
Yeah.
Oh,
That Sydney, that show's really good too. But
Yeah.
just
digress.
keep
I'm giving you
yeah, keep adding things to the list. It's fine.
I'm giving you too
This
much.
is me with Shy though.
Yeah, that's true. This is like the flow chart. It's Alex to me and then me to Sydney. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I guess after that, just a couple things. They did, I swear to God, they did do a special episode. For the life of me, I don't remember what happened. But at the end of the first season, they do like there's an announcement for a special episode. Um And then they released Sotus S, which is season 2 of Sotus. And this one is office themed. So, got that cliche as well.
Yeah, we got both of them. It's
Yeah.
great.
The special episode is Kong as the head hazer.
Okay, I think that's when they
Oh.
weren't sure they were gonna make season 2 yet, so they did
Yeah,
that.
so in that one, Artide is like working like a real job, and so they're kind of like balancing like him not being at school anymore and Kong
Oh.
being the hazer and going
Mhm.
through all that, and like RT like shows up at school to like support him at some point. You see some of the hazing, and honestly Kong is pretty close to the same as everything was.
Yeah, he doesn't do that much better, to be honest.
No, he doesn't.
So, he tried. And then
Yeah, like I don't think he's as scary, but
no, yeah, I would honestly not listen to him at all. Like, what is he gonna do?
That's-
Like, flirt with you until you do push-ups?
Well, he has such a sweet smile too. That's
yeah.
like he's so lovable.
Yeah. And then they were in, I want to say, 2 different Our Sky specials. So those are basically like just one-off episodes for um like different popular BL pairings. I definitely watched those at some point. I don't remember what happens. I feel like one of them they like go to an airport or something. They were like maybe gonna break up because they're, but then they didn't. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, they're in episode 5 of Our Sky.
Oh yeah, when Kong Pop's given a prestigious opportunity to work abroad, Archie worries about the future of their relationship. So, yeah, so that's the
That could be
Sotus.
a bingo square too. Somebody going abroad.
I know that, yeah, that seems to happen a lot as well. But yeah, that's the Sotus cinematic universe. Um, and then final thing, um, so the actor who plays Kong Pop, his name's Singto. He left GMM TV for many years, like 7 years or something. And they just announced that he rejoined the company. And everyone's like, oh my god, okay. But no one expected to see these two star in a show together again. And then a couple months ago, they announced a show called The X Morning, and it stars Chris and Singto, the same actors in Sotus. And I am so fucking excited for the show. They also do have Chris' character drinking pink milk in one of the teasers for it.
Yes. Let's fucking go.
I know. um, and I'm so excited for the show. It looks really good. Yeah, it looks so. I'm like so psyched about it. So we'll see when
Yeah,
that comes out.
I
Yeah.
I really, really like that pairing. I remember like after Sotus, I just had like a really big obsession with the two of them. Like I
Mm-hmm.
still to this day follow them on Instagram, and like anytime I see them together, I'm like, "Aw." So it's
Yeah.
really exciting to see that they're like doing another BL together.
Mm-hmm. Like I never thought I would see this day. So
Yeah, right. It's gonna be really weird seeing them as like completely different characters in a different universe, but I'm really
yeah.
excited about it.
Because I have watched Chris has been in other shows that I watch. He started in one called Be My Favorite, and I really liked that show. Um, but he was a completely different character, which is like weird because I have watched Sodas like so I've probably watched the show maybe like 4 or 5 times, throughout the years. And
Hmm.
but yeah, I think they're gonna slay the role if the like teaser already looks so good, so
I still have yet to watch it, and I don't know if I should or if I should just go into it blind.
I mean, you're gonna be waiting like a year for it to come out, so
I know, and exactly, that's why it's like, I probably shouldn't watch the teaser because then I'll just get, like, way too excited, and I'm like, "Oh
Mm,
my god, I have to wait an entire year for this? That's crazy."
that's fair. To be honest, we have no idea when it's supposed to come out. Or maybe
Mm.
Alex knows. I feel like you always know when shows are filming and stuff.
I haven't heard anything about this one yet because it's not because when they announced it with GMM TV Part 2 for this year, so that was what in April.
Yeah.
Um, and I haven't heard anything since then.
Mm-hmm.
Looking on the MDL, it doesn't sound like anyone else knows either.
Okay. It'll come when it comes, I guess.
There's a lot. It's so weird because there's a lot of people mad that they haven't done anything yet, but like it was announced pretty early. Like it got announced for 2024, like as with the announcement, but then it was actually like just kidding. It's actually for 2025.
Mm,
Like we found that out pretty early.
yeah. Plus, Singto
Um,
just rejoined the company like this year, so I don't think they really had time to do things yet. But
yeah.
yeah, I am super excited for that. It's gonna bring back all the feels.
Mm. We'll definitely have to talk about it when it comes out.
I think that's all I had to say.
We didn't really talk much about the fact that like Wad like
Oh
vanished
yeah,
like
Yeah.
a third away through the
I was
show.
gonna mention
Yeah.
that, but it's like it is also something you don't realize while watching the show until like it ends, and you're like, wait a minute,
Where's Wad?
where's what?
Yeah, because everyone else like in the show like is there. Like they stay the whole entire time.
Mhm.
So it's literally just him. And it's like, hello, where'd he go?
Being so excited about like his character arc and like texting you about it,
Yeah,
Shine being like, oh, and then you were like, yeah, about that.
yeah.
And I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I don't know if the actor must have just dropped the project or something. Because literally the last time we see him, I think, is at the gear ceremony where they like get their gears, and then never see him again. And even in season 2, I do think they mention him once. Like we don't see him at all, but they're like, oh yeah, and Wad is working here now, and we're like, oh my god, you guys remember Wad?
He didn't just drop off the face of the earth. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's so funny how that happens. I remember watching it for the first time and being like, wait a minute, where did that guy go? Iconic.
That's all I had.
Yeah. Sydney, how about you? Any final thoughts?
Um, Not that I can think of. I mean, the show is just insane in the best ways. And it's been very fun, like going back and rewatching it and just cringing over everything again. Because there are so many things that I completely forgot about that I'm like, what? Like, this, it's just so interesting. And I'm very excited to like start watching more BLs now that I've rewatched this and
Mhm.
being able to compare to just like how insane this one is compared to all the other ones. I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of character.
hmm
I think the insanity has shifted.
Yeah, it's a different
True.
kind of insanity from what it sounds like, but
Yeah. Like even just comparing like the college shows now, like the newer ones are like what we are, Hidden Agenda.
Mhm.
If you really want to go unhinged, it's Only Friends, but they go to school like twice. So outside of that, they're literally everywhere else.
Yeah. Sotus definitely does it
Um,
best when it comes to staying entertaining as a college drama.
yeah. I still haven't finished We Are.
I don't even know if I did. I think I did.
I think you did. I think you did. I have like
Yeah.
4 episodes left and I can't convince myself to watch
Yeah,
it.
nothing will happen, so it's unfortunate.
Hidden Agenda is cute, but that was a little bit too much debate club for me.
Yeah. Honestly, I would say the show I think is the most similar to Sotus. Sounds weird, but probably like Wandy Good Day. Like
Yeah.
the vibes are similar, I think. Um
Yeah.
I
I would agree with that.
yeah, it's very different show. It's like about a boxer and a doctor, but like I feel like if you like Sotus for some reason, I feel like you would like that show. It's because the relationship is really strong. I think it's very
Mhm.
relationship focused, but yeah, that'd be my recommendation, I guess.
Yeah, I think that makes sense for recent ones. Going through what I've been watching and I'm just like, none of these.
Yeah. Should we wrap it then?
Yep. All right. Well, you can find us on our socials as usual on Instagram and TikTok at bl.in.the.air. You can find us on Twitter at blintheair. And you can find us on Discord, where I honestly don't stop yapping, through our link tree. The invite is in there, and the links to all the socials are in there as well. The link to the link tree should be in the description of the podcast. And you can find us streaming wherever you're listening. And Sydney, do you have any socials you want to plug?
Not really, if I'm being honest.
Okay. No, that's fine. Wanted to make sure. And then we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.